How did you spend your summer vacation? Well, for two of our local Girl Scouts, their summer vacation included a 2 week tour to Ireland, Wales, England, and France. They were joined by 10 other scouts from New York and Texas. They landed in Ireland, but
We did not see any leprechauns, no.
Oh, okay.
But we went to a Irish house party, and they showed us how to do Irish dancing, and they sang us their songs, which they're pretty neat, but I don't understand their language.
and what is a trip to merry old England without touring its castles, where the legendary King Arthur and Sir Lancelot trod? It is ironic that so many of the English are fascinated by our tales of the Old West, and so many of us are fascinated by the land of Camelot.
We went to both of the castles where the Queen lives in England.
So Buckingham Palace.
Yeah.
We went and saw that.
Cool thing about Windsor Castle is the Queen lives at Windsor on the weekdays where she works, and in Buckingham she goes on the weekends.
What about that famous London Bridge?
We went under it, and
On a boat tour.
we went on a riverboat tour, and the London Bridge is very plain.
There's so many bridges in London, and everyone think there's a really nice looking one that everyone calls the London Bridge, and that's what they think it is, but it's not. It's
Just Tower Bridge.
Yeah, it's just a cement bridge with nothing across it, like nothing decorating
It's
it or
not
anything.
fancy at all.
Next, off to Paris to enjoy a snack in an open air cafe.
A lot of the people outside the restaurants, we thought that it would be like really cute to see and eat out there, but they're mainly out there so they can smoke.
Yeah. So I mean, and if they leave their doors open, so some of the restaurants didn't really have seating inside, so you had to sit inside, but some of them, when you were inside and they left the doors open and their customers outside were smoking, and so it just wafted in through the doors.
Yuck. But what about the food?
There was a lot of chocolate.
It seems like almost every meal we had dessert, and every time we had dessert, it was something chocolate.
It was like a chocolate cake or a
There was-
brownie.
Yeah, there was some chocolate pie. I mean, it was all chocolate.
And they do have Starbucks and McDonald's there. And Starbucks drinks are totally different. They don't have anything that we have here. And if you ask for coffee, like I always get the chocolate chip frappe from McDonald's, and so we went to Paris and I asked for that and they gave me chocolate milk. So it is way different.
And there were some of the places that other places were actually really on point. Like some of the Starbuckses in England weren't very, like, they don't use as much sugar. They don't use as much sweet stuff. But when we went to Paris and the bigger cities of England, like London, their Starbucks were virtually the same because we went in a couple. So some places were the same and some places just weren't.
And their sodas are very different. Like they only have diet sodas.
Yeah, everything tastes diet because they don't use like as much sugar and they don't use the same kind of sugar we use.
How about pizza?
They do, but it is very thin.
Yes.
It's like really thin. It's not pizza like we have.
And there was a couple places, like when you go to our bigger cities in New York and places like that, just pizza places line the streets. You saw one in like a radius of like 100 miles.
One more cool thing is we went to Paris and we went to the Louvre, and it's the art museum, and we saw the Mona Lisa. And when you think of seeing the Mona Lisa, you think it's a huge, huge thing, probably covers a wall because everyone thinks that it's so big. It's not. It's really small. And it's like that size.
About that up there? Okay.
Yeah, it's small. and they have a huge rope around it, and there's so many people trying to get a picture, you really can't get close to it.
They have really good ice cream. Like, that was one of the noticeable things I remember was their ice cream. Because we stopped at one place. It was a national monument in Ireland. 3 gigantic crosses stand up on a hill. And there was a lady there with an ice cream truck. And she gives you this cone. It starts out itty bitty. And then it gets kind of wider. And then it makes like a little bowl. And then her ice cream was like whipped cream almost, but it was ice cream. And then she poured like these flavored syrups on it, and then she stuck this little chocolate wafer thing in there. It was really, really good.
It is hard to cram a 2-week tour into a few minutes, but you can plainly see that this was a summer to remember.